The recent hijacking of a train in Balochistan has placed the spotlight back on one of Pakistan's most troubled provinces. Now, a string of attacks in this province have highlighted how difficult it is for Pakistan's federal government to control Balochistan. And the chaos in the province has seriously damaged one of Pakistan's most important strategic assets. That is Gwadar, a port that was supposed to be a game changer but has ended up being more of a headache than a hub. Gwadar, which is located on Pakistan's southwestern coast, was always seen as a prime location for a deep sea port. It was originally owned by Oman, and Pakistan later acquired it in 1958. For years, it was just another fishing town until the early 2000s, when China stepped in with big ambitions. Beijing saw Gwadar as a potential jewel in its new Belt and Road or BRI initiative. This was supposed to be a crucial link in China's grand strategy to connect Asia, Africa, and Europe. The idea was simple: turn Gwadar into a world-class port that could rival Dubai and Singapore, while giving China a much-needed alternative to shipping through the Malacca Strait, which is a narrow and vulnerable choke point near Indonesia, dominated by other powers. From a strategic perspective, Gwadar made a lot of sense. First of all, it allowed shorter supply routes. China, for example, imports massive amounts of oil from the Middle East. If Gwadar had lived up to the hype, Beijing could have cut down shipping distances by unloading cargo there and transporting it overland into China's western regions. The port also had economic potential. Pakistan hoped Gwadar would transform into a major trade and logistics hub, boosting its struggling economy with investment, jobs, and infrastructure. Finally, there was naval expansion. The port could have given China's navy a stronger foothold in the Indian Ocean, allowing Beijing to protect its interests in the region. Now, all of that sounds great, but despite all the hype, Gwadar has been a massive disappointment. There are a few reasons why. Gwadar sits in Balochistan, which is one of Pakistan's most volatile provinces. Separatist groups there have seen Chinese investments as exploitation rather than development. Attacks on Chinese workers and infrastructure have become common, scaring away investors and stalling progress. There's also poor infrastructure. For a port to thrive, you need proper roads, rail links, and storage facilities. Gwadar lacks all of this. Transporting goods from the port to China would require massive investments in road and rail networks through mountainous terrain, something that Pakistan cannot afford at this point. There is also the problem of high costs and low benefits. Even if this infrastructure was built, shipping oil overland from Gwadar to China would be an estimated 4 to 5 times more expensive than simply using the sea route to Shanghai. Economically, it doesn't add up. And finally, when it comes to the defense side of the equation, Karachi port already exists. China already has deep ties and experience dealing with Karachi port, which is well developed and serves as one of the main logistics and repair hubs for the Chinese Navy in the Indian Ocean. Why would China pour billions into Gwadar when Karachi already does the job? Despite its problems, Gwadar isn't entirely useless. China still maintains a presence there, and Pakistan occasionally announces new development plans. But realistically, unless security improves and infrastructure issues are resolved, Gwadar will remain more of a strategic dream than a functional reality. For now, it's a classic case of big ambitions clashing with ground realities.